Hey everyone, this is Ken, and welcome back to Golden Stud Gaming. Today we're tackling the very beginning of LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga, the full Episode 1, The Phantom Menace playthrough. From Jedi negotiations to pod racing, all the way to that epic Darth Maul duel. We've got a lot to relive, so let's jump on in. All right, and here we go. We are going to jump into the Phantom Menace, and we're going to start off at the beginning. I'm not going to show too much of there's not much of a hub world or anything in the Complete Saga, so I'm not going to show any of it right now. We're gonna save that stuff for later after we work our way through the campaigns and start working on all the collectibles and all that kind of stuff. So for now, we're just going to kind of barrel through these six chapters in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And here's the crawl. Negotiations, Chapter 1. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. With a blockade of deadly battleships, the Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet of Naboo. The Supreme Chancellor has secretly dispatched Jedi Knights Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi to settle the conflict. Very nice. Now you'll notice there's no classic Star Wars music going on in the background. The game does have that in there, but unfortunately Disney gets a little protective of their music copyrights. I've seen it happen with a lot of playthrough videos where they end up having to cut out the music. The cutscenes here, there's a little music in the background, so hopefully that won't be a problem. But like that opening crawl and the John Williams Star Wars theme, that they ding you if you keep it in there. So I gotta turn the music off for these playthroughs. I will edit something in there. I don't know if it's going to be something equally action and amazing, or if I'll go with something funny like smooth jazz or whatever. Who knows? We'll see how I feel when I start to put this together in the video editing software. So we've arrived at the command ship, the droid command ship, and we've been double crossed. Obviously, there's gas flooding in here. If you remember from the movies, we got on here. They're supposedly going to be meeting us to chit chat, and instead we end up getting gassed. Now we're going to escape this ship to get ourselves down to the planet Naboo. So we'll fight our way through here. So I am a fan. I'd say I'm a fan of the prequel movies. I enjoy the original movies better, New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I mean, I am old enough that I remember when they came out in the theaters. I remember seeing A New Hope in the movie theater when it first came out. It was amazing. It was absolutely awesome. So those movies will always have a place in my heart. They'll always be my favorites. I also enjoy they were very action focused. They were still, I don't know. I wouldn't say I would call them kids movies. They were not complex in any way. But they were action science fiction movies. They were pretty revolutionary at the time, actually. We didn't have a lot like that back then. So it was quite something to see. I have an appreciation for the world building, like the ships and the design. I really enjoyed the design in these movies. He introduces a lot more of the world behind it, the planets and the different cultures and things like that. And I love that part of these movies. And each world and each culture has a very distinct look and feel, which I love as well. Naboo doesn't look like Coruscant, doesn't look like like Tatooine, and so that's great. I love that stuff. But the story side, it gets you get all that politics and the Emperor taking over the Senate, and it's okay. But I gotta admit, the simplicity of just boom boom blow stuff up like in the originals, I do find that a little more appealing. But that's fine. I do like the representation of this movie in these levels. It does get rid of all that political stuff and sticks to the action. So, that's nice about that. Here we go. Let's go take these guys out. Here we go. Let's see if we can do it. And double jump, and yes. Double jump, and here, I'll show you in a second. Let me get these guys out, and I'll show you a little combat tip, which many of you may already know. So, double jump and hit the attack button. You do that kind of move. It's the strongest attack in the game, and you can basically one-shot the shields on the battle droids with that thing. It's the easiest. Otherwise, you have to sit there and try and deflect their shots, and you don't want to do that. It's good for boss fights too. It makes them all pretty darn easy. Let's get that out there. Also, the other move is force pushing. Here we go. Yep. See, you can force push those guys like that. Take them all out. It's fantastic. I love it. Ooh, I missed that guy. Got shot. So, boop, down you go. All right, Ghetto C3PO, let's bring you over here and open that up. And this is one of the shorter levels in the game because that basically finishes that chapter up. And Obi-Wan doing his little stealth sneaking move. And yep, there we go. It's all for nothing. Oh, Obi-Wan. He's quite the funny character, isn't he? That completes that level. Let's go ahead and move on. See what we accomplished. TC-14, not Ghetto C3PO. True Jedi, well, looks like we got 63%. Again, I'm not really expecting to get many of those True Jedis. I'm not working to collect a lot through this playthrough. We're just trying to unlock characters, unlock ships, and unlock each of these levels so that we can play them in free play. Once we do that, we'll be able to go back and find everything and collect everything. And now we're moving on to Chapter 2. This should be the planet surface of Naboo. Let's see what we got. Chapter 2, Invasion of Naboo, Electric Boogaloo. The Trade Federation has launched a full-scale attack on the peaceful world of Naboo. Hiding aboard the landing craft, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi have secretly hitched a ride with the invasion force. Now they must make contact with local forces before it is too late. And we know who it is that they are going to make contact with. Here we go. We get a little cutscene. Very cool. I love it because this is straight out of the movie. They do such a good job of that. This is exactly out of the movie. Love it. Simplified. It's an older game, so it's not like, Lego games, even the newest ones. Latest one was Skywalker Saga, at least by TT Games. There was another one by another company, the Horizons, Zero Dawn Horizon game, which I didn't like at all. But that wasn't done by TT Games. So even the latest TT games, like Skywalker Saga, looks good, but, they're not winning awards for their amazing, realistic, unbelievable graphics. You don't need a Super GT computer to play them. But what they've always done a really great job with is the art direction. Like, come on, let's go. It nails the environment. This looks like Naboo. The variety's fantastic. Like, look, the first part we just played, that first chapter, corridors on a spaceship. We're escaping, we're fighting things, and now we're on the planet. Uh-oh, wait. Here he is. There he is. Jar Jar Binks. Oh, he is the Darth Jar Jar. That's who he is. If you notice, when he was introduced there, he was sniffing those flowers. I don't know if you noticed, but it was little red sparkles coming off of the flowers. And if you know the Lego Star Wars games, you'll know that red sparkly coloring is an indication that you need to use the dark force, the dark side of the force powers in order to activate it. So I find it interesting that Jar Jar is clearly interacting with a dark side object, and it's working. So it also explains how he can be a bumbling idiot and yet somehow survive. And what is that? Is that it is. There's a mini kit up there. How do we get that thing? What do you think? How do we get up there? Ooh. I think we need to... I have no idea how to get up there. No, doesn't matter. We'll work on that later. Yeah, he bumbles his way through everything and just somehow manages to to see it through. It's just it's ridiculous on its surface. It's too ridiculous. It's obvious that he's got force powers. And my assumption is that, of course, obviously, the correct is that his powers are not for good, they're for evil. Because Jar Jar is evil. Evil incarnate. Go. However, in the game, he is somewhat useful. He's got this great double jump. See, he can jump way higher than the Jedi can. And you need that, at least in these early levels, in order to progress in certain places. There's certain collectibles and things that all kind of rely on that double jump. So you'll be using him later. I'm not sure what other characters get that high jump. He might be the only one, but I feel like there should be at least another one. But so Jar Jar, as useless as he is in the movies, in the game, he's got somewhat of a use. But that's the only use he has, because he can't do anything else. He doesn't have a weapon. He can't fight, but he can jump like Wilt Chamberlain. Or that's dating myself. He can jump like Michael Jordan, which still dates myself. Who's the big one? LeBron? I'm not a huge sports guy, so whoever, imagine that I just said some really relevant sports reference that, Jar Jar can jump like that guy. Just pretend. Let me know in the comments a good sports reference. Who's Jar Jar jumping like these days? Right, let's get that done. Take him out. And yeah, I like the look of this game. It's great. Look at this. Lego's always been good at that kind of thing. Now we got swamp that we're working through. Look at if you look at let me kill these guys so I can pay a little more attention to it. Get them out of the way. It's like, look at that water. It's swamp water. It's covered with leaves from these trees. It just, the whole environment makes sense. And we got more swamp area. That one was covered in leaves because there was tons of trees around there. This area is just grass and everything else. There's another mini kit. For those that don't know, these mini kits are a major collectible in these levels. There's 10 of them in each level, and when you collect them all, they come together to form like a little ship, a little Lego ship model or something like that along those lines. So they're usually hidden behind things that you need other characters to get through that you don't have right now. So that's why we're not going to bother collecting too many of them. We're not going to worry about it. There's also powers. There's red bricks that we'll unlock later on that will help us to find all those mini kits. They can be hidden pretty well. So yeah, later on we'll get into all those. We'll do some guides, show you where everything is. For now, we're just enjoying the story. And here we are underwater. The Jedi will go ahead and show their evil ways right here. Look at that. He's not going to help him. Guy waves his hand. Jedi, doesn't get what he wants, so he's going to go ahead and use his powers to brainwash the guy into giving him his ship. It's theft. They're stealing. Plain and simple. Honestly, you compare the ethics of the Jedi to the ethics of the Empire, and I'm not seeing a lot of difference here. It's all very much, ends justify the means morality there, where, it doesn't matter what you do as long as at the end it's to accomplish something good. So the Jedi are, they're using their powers to get what they want and everything. And they would argue, well, we do that so that we can, save the galaxy. But the Empire, they would say that, well, all this oppression and everything, that is to enforce peace. We're getting all this peace because of, because we're doing these things, and because of that we have peace, da 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 da. So, I'm not seeing the big difference there. I don't know. You let me know what you think. By the way, that's a joke. Although I do actually agree that even the Jedi, they have a very ends justify the means way of going about things. So let's see. Escape from Naboo. Electric Boogaloo. The Gungan ruler Boss Nass has refused to help the people of Naboo. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi left his underwater city for the royal palace in Thebe by stealing his ship, mind you. As Trade Federation battle droids seize control of the Naboo capital city, Queen Amidala and Captain Panaka, her loyal protector, are powerless to repel the invasion. That's a lot of P words. Plosives, they're called. All right, now we're rolling into the city. Yeah, so yeah, the Jedi they have an ends justify the means way of doing that. You know, they're not above just doing whatever to accomplish their goals. They're not so good either. And there she is. This is all right. So here's the question: ugliest character in this episode. My vote is Queen Amidala. Like this minifigure is really, really ugly. Look at that. Look at it. She's got the, you know, I get the mask and everything, but the pants, you know, like the legs, and it's not very good looking. And Jar Jar's a close second. He's got no detail. It's not great looking. She looks, as in Skywalker Saga, it's sort of funny because she looks like she's riding on a Roomba. She's zipping around on this thing. But it looks a lot better. You know, this, it's not very good looking. Not at all. But that's all right. You let me know what you think the ugliest one is. And then by contrast, what's the best looking minifig in this game? I will go for it, not in this game, in this episode. We'll go with this episode. And I'll go with Darth Maul. We're going to see that when we get to the end. He's going to show up, and he's very cool looking. So he's the best. He's got a lot of character. He's got the double-sided lightsaber. He's got everything going for him in there. So he's by far the best. You let me know if you agree or disagree. We can talk about this when we get to the other chapters of whether those hold up or whether better-looking guys show up later. We'll see what happens. Well, here we go. Where are we supposed to head? Check that. There we go. So, the golden rule of Lego games. If you can't figure out what to do to progress, you just need to start destroying absolutely everything. If you destroy everything, you will uncover what's holding you up. There it is. This is what I was talking about. See these reds? That red sparkle? It's the same red sparkle that was around those plants. This, you need to have someone like Vader or Darth Maul to use the dark side power in order to do whatever will activate here. It probably gives you another mini kit or something. And so it's obvious. Go back here. Another mini kit. That's nice. Go with there. Get that. So going back to the variety, I talked about the variety being one of the things I love about this one in particular. There's a lot of, variety. I keep saying the word variety, but there's a lot of variety in the levels. You know, the first one, spaceship, tight corridors. Second one, more of a sprawling open planet. And now here we are working our way through a city. So lots of buildings, lots of, it's, again, there's kind of tight, there's these, what are these called? These trellises, or I don't know what they're called. I'm not an architecture person, but, these little bridges and all that. It's a very cool look and feel. It's also, this level in particular gets a little bit longer. Up till now, the episodes have been pretty quick, pretty zippy. You get through them quickly, which I appreciate personally. It means you can sit down and accomplish something without a lot of time. What are those doing? But yeah, this one starts to shows where they're stretching their legs a little bit in their level design, where you got multiple objectives, you got a lot of different characters you're meeting, and it's more story happening. She's working on getting out, and then she meets the Jedi, and they're all going to escape together. So it's pretty cool. Let's get on here. Decent amount of puzzling. We got to shoot those things. Another two over on this side. Boop, boop. Open that gate up. And here we go. And still it goes. Still not at the end. Take them out. Take them out. Nice, nice, nice. Go, go, go. He's horrible up close, though. You do not want to get too close when playing as her. I mean, she's ugly, too, so, you know, don't get too close. That's dumb. That's bad. There we go. Nice. What's that opening? What is that? Let's go. All right. It is not doing anything. Yeah. No, I don't know. All right. We'll skip that. That doesn't seem to really accomplish much of anything. Off we go. That is going to open the way down. I think there's a hole under that. It's going to let us progress. Let's see. This one. That's a mini kit, but it is hidden behind. Yeah, you need like special bombs in order to see that silvery sheen that thing has. It looks all silver. Those are the you need bombs in order to destroy that, and we don't have it, so we're not going to be able to get that mini kit. We'll come back later. Get that out. Go. Let's go here. Get that blue stud. And we can jump down that hole. And here we go. You know what's going to happen. You know. Come on. Do it.
Roger, roger.
Do it. There we go. Obviously, that was a setup for the guy dropping out of the sky and landing on them gag. It's old as time. There we go. Yeah, see, as I was talking before, the ship designs and things, like those Naboo ships, I really love the Naboo ship designs. They're very, they're sleek. You got the Rebel stuff, the Rebel TIE fighters and everything kind of looks like it was, hacked together. They're not sleek at all. They're functional. You've got the Empire, hard angles and, grays and blacks to symbolize the evil and, very aggressive and full of, very offense focused. And then Naboo is all very, like royalty, everything is very slickly designed, beautiful to look at, smooth line, like a European sports car. So I like European sports cars. So that's why I like the Naboo ship designs, because of those nice Italian lines that they have. Chapter 4, Mos Espa Padres. All right, here we go. The pod race. Queen Amidala and her Jedi protectors have fled Naboo, heading for Coruscant. They plan to inform the Galactic Senate of the Trade Federation invasion. However, the Royal Starship's hyperdrive is damaged in the escape, and they have been forced to land on the remote planet of Tatooine for repairs. We all know Tatooine, the home of Anakin. And this other guy named, what was his name? What was, Luke? I think Luke? Maybe? Yeah, I think Luke was there. I don't know. But yeah, that's busted. Oh, Obi-Wan. Oh, the comic relief. Obi-Wan. There he is. Anakin. Ugh. Kind of an annoying little kid. He really is. Let's see. What? Can't afford that. But we've got a pod race. That'll give us the money we need. And right to the pod race. All right. Now, another great thing about Complete Saga is you get several different types of gameplay in your in these campaigns, in these story missions. We've been, even though we've had different locations up till now, we've had very much similar gameplay. We're running around, we're fighting guys, fighting guys and all that, collecting studs, combat, doing some puzzles here and there. Now we've shifted gears completely, and we are in a race, and it's a pod race. Fast pod race. There's another one right over there. Let me get that. There it is. Yeah, so very different gameplay style. I do appreciate that variety. Missed it. I also... So there's a pod race in the Skywalker Saga as well, but what I really appreciate about this one is how well it expresses that sense of speed. So pod races require so much reflex that humans generally aren't participating in these pod races. They can't. They don't have the reflexes to do it. So what's great is that this really shows that off. Like it is quick. You might not be, when you play it, you see it a little bit more. It's like you got to be on top of moving around and stuff. Otherwise, you're not going to get any of these collectibles. It's just, there's a great sense of speed. And so I like this. I like this level quite a bit. It's a big divergence from that classic Lego gameplay. Whoop. Get through there. Yeah, it's a big divergence from that classic Lego gameplay, but I like that. You know, a little bit of variety. Variety's good. There we go. That is 8 of the mini kits already. That's pretty darn good. We're not going to be able to get all of these because I don't know where the 9th one is, and there's another one that's up on top of a ramp, and I think you need to... I'm not sure how you even get on that ramp. It looks like there's a wall you have to destroy somehow. So that isn't going to happen today. We'll take a couple of... maybe we'll go around to the right at this beginning area and see if that will show me the 9th. There it is. There's number 9. All right. But see that right there, that wall. There's the last mini kit is sitting up on top of that ramp, and I have no idea how you get through that. I think maybe you need another kind of ship, and free play lets you change the type of ship you're flying through. I can't really remember. It's been a very long time since I played this game to completion, where I got all the collectibles and stuff. Long time. So that's pretty good though. We got what, 9 mini kits on the first time through. That's awesome. Now we're gonna hold on. We're gonna try something. So we're gonna win no matter what. The story dictates that we're gonna win, but we're gonna slow down and we're gonna let Saboba get in front of us. Oh, that's what happens. I was curious. I was like, is it gonna let us fail or not? Or is it gonna just pretend that we won? Oh, it looks like it just makes us do the lap over. Oh, and it sent us all the way back to the beginning of the lap. That's a kind of a pain. All right. That's interesting then. I'd kind of wondered about that. I've played this before and gotten stuck behind these rocks right here. And then, it took me like a couple of minutes to get out from behind the rock. And when I got out, these guys were sitting right there. Like they just stopped and waited for me. So I kind of figured, oh, this is one of those, it's a race in name only. There's really no way for you to fail. But testing right there, you can actually not win. But I can tell you that I'm not really good at racing games, and it was still pretty darn easy for me to win this. So there we go. So you don't die. You go back to you have to play the last loop again, and then you win, and there we go. So that's cool. And we buy the whatchamading-dong hyper compressor motor thingamading-dong. I don't know what that thing's called. Whatever. We bought it, and Obi-Wan does the Fonzie move on it, boom, gives it a hit, fixes it, and we're done. That is chapter 4 complete. Unlock the pod, Anakin's pod. What else we unlock? That was it. How far did we get on True Jedi here? 73%. Got 20-some thousand studs. That gets us up to 93.5, 94. Just about 94,000 studs. 9 mini kits. Here we go. Let's see what we got. 6, 7, 8, 9. Nice. That is Saboba's pod, which I always like that pod. I like the sound design. in the movie. It's reminiscent of American muscle cars with those great throaty engine sounds and all that, which I kind of enjoyed that. And Saboba's was very much the muscle car. And we've moved on to chapter 5. Retake Theed Palace. On Coruscant, Queen Amidala has found the Galactic Senate corrupted by Trade Federation influence and mired in bureaucracy. Frustrated, she has returned home to Naboo together with Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Captain Panaka, R2-D2, and the young pod racer from Tatooine, Anakin Skywalker. Queen Amidala now plans to infiltrate the royal palace and capture the evil Trade Federation viceroy. Holy run-on sentence. That was a long one. Okay, here we go. Back to Naboo. So we left Naboo. We came back to Naboo. Accomplished nothing on Coruscant. So if I had a complaint about those prequel movies, it was some of the story beats. When they leave Naboo, they go out, they go to Tatooine and they get Anakin, and then they go to Coruscant and there's this whole political machination thing with the Emperor, and then they go there with the intention of getting help for the planet, and then it's just like, oh, we're not going to be able to get help, and they go back and they leave, and it's all just sort of, it seems meaningless. It feels like nothing gets accomplished really. There's story things that get accomplished, but just from an action and standpoint, it didn't feel like much happened. So I thought that was one of the bigger mistakes in this movie, although I loved the pod race sequence in the movie too. But yeah, so a lot of that political stuff, I don't know. I like the simplicity of the science fiction action adventure of the original prequel. Same reason I liked, the Indiana Jones movies and all that, is just that very simple way of going about things. Let's take this. Oh yeah. Boom. Flattened him. Does this have a... Oh, it does. I can shoot. Oh, look at that. All right. Well, I got knocked off. Let's knock that guy out. That was awesome. There we go. All right. We got these guys over here shooting stuff up. Where's the rest of these? Where's the queen? Where's the queen? What are you guys doing back here? Get your butt over here. Make yourself useful. She needs to... Yeah, so we need to kill these guys. It's a pain in the butt trying to kill these guys with the Jedi. The Jedi are horrible at ranged combat. Did we get them all? Yep. All right. Let's see if we can travel up here and take some more of these guys out. Awesome. Saw a mini kit through the window. Come on. There we go. Nice. Got a mini kit. Let's keep going around. You know there's more guys up here. You. More? Is there more? No, I think that's it. Awesome. Now we can get them up. Let's build a ramp. See a terminal up there that R2 is going to need to do. Ready? And look at that. Like a boss. Go R2. Look at him. Hold on. Let's do that again. Move. Look at that. Look at him. That's great. All right. Let's move on. So, yeah. So in this episode, we're back in Naboo. In the city, the capital, whatever the name of the capital is, and working through all of that. And yeah, again, even compared to the other Naboo level, it has its own look and feel. Like this is more, we're working our way to the palace in this case, and different parts of the city. And we need a Jedi to fight these guys. There we go. Doop, doop, doop. Nice. Take care of those. Yeah. It still has a nice look to it. Let's take those guys out. Boop. What's that? See a button. Go ahead and hit that. Mini kit. Take that. Boop. Nice. Let's go. Moving on. I do like that move. The knocking them around. That's I gotta admit, that's pretty fun. Uh-huh. There's a lot of pictures of her in here. She's pretty vain. Pretty vain. And there we go. R2, you get over here, you boss. R2 is a boss. Boop. Open that up. There we go. Yeah, so mechanics. Mechanics in these early Lego games are very simple. I mean, this is as simple as it gets. You saw like R2 opens that door. Well, the way he does that is I just hit a button and the door opens. There's nothing more to it than that. Some of the later games start to involve kind of some mini games with these powers, like when R2 is in Skywalker Saga. What's he got to do? Yeah, when he hits those panels, he has to kind of like line up some shapes. There's like a little mini game. It's not complicated by any means, but you know, it adds a little more gameplay to it, right? Generally, the gameplay here is really simple. There's not much to it other than, you know, they even show you what character you need for most of these interactions. So you just kind of run up, change to the character you're supposed to get, and hit a button. There's not much more to it than that. And they address that later. But what they do get, and this has always been consistent, they've always been really, really good at this, is the feel of the place. You know, like the feel of the movies. You know, this is a Star Wars game, and can I get in there? I can get in there. Cool. It feels like you're playing a Star Wars movie, you know? It's, gotta jump these. It feels like the Phantom Menace, you know? All the story beats are there. I recognize all these story beats and everything. The locations feel like the locations. So they really nail that, and they always have. This is their first, sort of their first game. So technically, this was originally two separate games, Star Wars 1 and Star Wars 2, to cover the two different trilogies. I can't remember which was which, whether 1 was the prequels and 2 was the original trilogy, or I don't know, but it doesn't matter. So that was originally how you played these. What they ended up doing was packaging them together. They made a couple of small changes. I think adding that cantina maybe. I never played those original ones, so I'm not entirely sure what they did, but they smushed the two games together, polished it a little bit, added a little bit to it, and released it. So this is very much the first real TT Games Lego game. And even this, their very first shot at it, it's great. You know, like they got it right from the beginning. They knew what they wanted, and they did it. They executed on that. And you know, they wanted family friendly, a recognizable IP. It's mostly for kids. Legos, you know, it's for kids for the most part, but still engaging enough that adults will play it. Whether with their family co-op, the co-op aspect, I'm just playing this on my own, so I'm not even getting into that part. But the co-op aspect is really good. You know, everything is kept very family friendly. You know, the stories are very basic. Even, you know, the IPs they do, the movies, they have some, you know, there's intense moments in these movies and everything, and they take all that out. They keep stuff very friendly and basic. So yeah, and that's their mission. That's the games that they're making, and they do a great job. And even back then, they really nailed it. They just, as they get more and more games, they refine, they polish the formula, and they add where appropriate. So for this is actually my first video that I'm recording for this channel. My intention with this is to work through, what's that down there? Is to work through all the different Lego games in order from release. So all the different release dates. And through that, I'll be able to kind of get a nice look at how these games have evolved over time. And normally I wouldn't do something like that because with stuff like this, a lot of times the older games are just painful. They're painful to play, painful to watch. You know, it's just, they're so old. The technology's horrible. It's only interesting in a nostalgic sense, not a, you know, and there's only so much that I can do. I'm not interested in doing just like big retrospectives where I'm going to endure a crappy game just so that I can, you know, make a video about it. I still want to enjoy the time. And what's great is that these older games, they're still enjoyable. Like, I genuinely enjoy playing this. It's fun. It's certainly simpler. They're always simple. I like simple games like this, but like this is really, really easy. But it's still genuinely fun. Like I said, I think they nail the look and feel. When we get down, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take, but when we finally make it to Skywalker Saga and play through, I played that somewhat recently, so I can tell you that there's things about the Skywalker Saga that are actually better in this game. You know, like I do like the Sky. A lot of people give it crap just because I think that's the thing to do on the internet or whatever. But I think Skywalker Saga is a great game. I love it. But there are some genuine things wrong with it, and there are things that are, I think, pretty objectively better in this title that they got wrong in Skywalker Saga. We'll talk about all that later. We'll get, when we get to that, there'll be plenty of comparison videos. There's all kinds of stuff that we're going to have in the future. I got some good long-term goals for this channel, all revolving around Lego gameplay. I think there's, there we go. Oh, it's a trap. It's a trap. All right. Oh, nice. There we go. You're gone. Nice. All right. All right. So we're going to set a challenge. We're going to set a challenge that once per video, not once per game. So once per video and not once per level. I've got to try and find a way to use the "It's a Trap" meme. I love the "It's a Trap" meme is funny with the what's his name, Admiral Akbar. However, the other side of that challenge is going to be that I can only use it once. So if I encounter another trap later, I am not allowed to say it's a trap. I have to restrain myself and only use that once per video. So we'll see if I do it, and we'll see if I remember this challenge as the days go by. I have my old man memory. I feel very much like it's going to be very hit and miss on whether I'm going to remember that. That's very much something that I could see myself forgetting very easily. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a challenge. You guys can call me out on it when I screw it up. Here we go. Let's collect. Let's rescue all these. Yeah, so you'll notice how much longer this level is. The first level when we were working our way out of the, where is it? So, something up here? No, there's got to be a guy around here somewhere, right? Is there? No? I could have sworn there's a guy up there. I feel like there had to be. There's got to be someone around here. I'm missing something. There we go. All right, here we go. Let's get him up there. Boop. There. Oh, Lego platforming. There we go. Nice. Now we got him. But yeah, this, what was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought. This level's quite a bit longer. That first one was just really quick. There was not much to that. We were through it in like 5 minutes. Now we're a bit more involved and working through multiple sections using different characters, all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, I like the variety, the pacing. You know, they do things with pacing so that it's not always the same. All these things make, oh, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. It is a hijinks. It is a, what's another word for it? It's a, I have no idea. I'm drawing a blank. Somebody get a thesaurus. What's another word for it? I'm not going to say the word. Get over there, Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan. Boom. Yeah, so screwing around with the pacing, some levels longer, you know, it makes things engaging and interesting. So I appreciate that. How many more guys do we have left? One? Where is he? He over here? I feel like he's over here. I bet he's over here. Is he? Is he? I see a thing right there. Nope. I'm missing one. Where did I see him? He's got to be back here. All right, we're going back here. He's not over there. We're looking for him. Jump around a little bit. So, all right, yeah, let's talk about, you know what? Yeah, with all this jumping and all this precision going on, let's talk about the not so good side of Lego games. I will be doing reviews of these games. When I finish this game, I'll do a review of it. I probably won't even wait until I complete it to do the review. Or I won't wait to 100% it to do the review, but there it is. Here we go. But yeah, platforming elements. So there he is. A lot of these Lego games are jumping around and getting from place to place. And anyone who's played these before will tell you that precision jumping in this game is horrible. Like, it is just very difficult to get your character where you're trying to go and get him to do the thing that you're trying to get him to do. It's brutal. And that is actually something that has not really changed. The newer ones, I think it's better in the newer ones, but it's not that much better. It's still a big problem in the newer games. So something about the camera and the controls, it just platforming, and specifically in this game is the melee combat. You know, like the melee combat is not great. Lego, TT Games did a really good job of improving the combat over time, where the newer games are a lot more engaging, and, you know, there's combos. Right now it's just the X button does attacks. Later games have 2 or 3, X and Y both do attacks. And B does rolls. I think there's dodging and all that. This doesn't have any of that. This is, you can jump. What does the B button do in this game? Hold on. I'll have to wait until the next, I'm going to remind myself what the B button does. A jumps, X attacks, and Y changes characters. And the B button, I don't know. We'll see. I know in the later games, B is dodge. So you can do kind of like roll dodging and things. All that to mean that, yeah, combat's really simple in these early games. We should, as we go through them, we should see some improvements over time. The next one that we're doing is Lego Batman 1, I think is the second game. I got to go look on my list. So we'll see how the combat improves in that one. I have not, Lego Batman 1, geez, I'm not even sure if I've played all the Lego games, but I haven't completed them all. I haven't 100%ed all of them, because some of them get really long, and, you know, I get my enjoyment and end them. So I don't think I ever finished Lego Batman 1. So that's going to be fun. We're going to finish Lego Batman 1 together on this channel. All right. Chapter 6, Darth Maul. Here we go. Trade Federation army has been neutralized by Anakin Skywalker, but the battle continues in the Royal Palace. Pause, dramatic pause. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi have one more enemy to face, and that enemy is Darth Maul. Here we go. There he is. Yeah. As I think I said this earlier, yeah. Coolest looking minifig in the game. Darth Maul. Look at him. And that lightsaber's awesome. It's just so cool. So he is a badass. Love him. If I remember right, this level, this boss fight is pretty darn cool. Let's see what we got. deflecting is a pain. You gotta kind of hit the block button. Like if you just hit X while things are flying at you, it'll block. Oh, okay, so B just puts away your lightsaber. That's useless. That doesn't do anything. That's useless. Yeah, so you have to kind of time if someone's shooting at you, like right here. I gotta hit X just as they're there, and you'll see, and then just hold it down, and it will redirect the shots back at them. If you don't time it right, if you just hit that X and block earlier, the shots go off into the great wide open. So this is, yeah, you know, I guess it's okay. It's a little bit of a pain because there's usually a lot of these shots coming at you at once. So in practice, it's a pain in the butt. All right, let's get this over here. Nice. Let's get that. Oh, I see some mini kits. Let's go ahead and grab those. There's that slick Naboo fighter. I love these. Those yellow ships here. I'd actually been meaning to, I don't have a lot of, I like Lego. I don't, when I was a kid, I had a lot of them. Nowadays, every once in a while, I'll pick up a Lego set and work it because they're still pretty fun. I enjoy the model building aspect of it. That Naboo fighter is actually one that I've always wanted to pick up. You probably can't even get it anymore. And Lego's just, the prices are just ludicrous. It's what, right up there is Hogwarts. Is it? Where is it? Hold it. Yeah, right behind me. The micro figure size Hogwarts. Awesome model. I really enjoyed it. But man, expensive. And that's like cheap compared to a lot of the big stuff. So yeah, so I don't do a lot of these just because it's like I'm spending my money in other places generally. All right. But yeah, all that to say is if I ever see that Naboo fighter for sale, I should go look it up online. Those smaller ships usually aren't super expensive. I wouldn't mind picking one of those up and building it just because it looks so cool. I love the Naboo ship designs. All right, Maul. Here we go. Yeah, you better run. Look at him. He does do it. Look at it. That's a pretty awesome flip. You see that little double, triple flip for the flip and the, you know, pretty good. Pretty good. But I am noticing a theme with Darth Maul. As badass as Darth Maul is, the theme is that he seems to constantly run. He is just running from me nonstop. Throwing all these droids in the way. Because he can't handle the heat. So Maul can't handle the heat. Can't handle the heat. He needs to get out of the kitchen. Come on. Nope, don't do that. Come on, Obi-Wan. There we go. That doesn't get old. That's always fun. Just force pushing these guys off the bridges and stuff. But yeah, he's always running. Or I suppose he's not running. He's parkouring. He's parkour. He's parkouring his way through all these levels to get away from me. But, you know, parkour, that's just a nice way of saying that he's running. He's running. All right, let's get this guy. We got to kill these guys in the back. Otherwise, he will keep continually spawning in these droids. Nice. There we go. Awesome. And now these dudes. And that's actually those guys are another Lego mod. I've seen that one. I've looked at it a couple times and thought about picking it up, but these things are, you know, they have a really cool Lego model of these guys. It's a decent size. And whoa, see, all right, here's that platforming I'm talking about. But the Lego model of these guys is very cool. There we go. Too much of a pain. Yeah, they look cool. They're a decent size. They're not monstrous, so they're not too crazy. But they fold up into a ball and roll, and so they're very. There you go. I got 'em. Where are you going? Get back here. Yeah, so that's another one that's really cool. So I pick up a couple of these. I haven't done a Lego in a while. I like the cityscapes too, the architecture ones. I think you can right over there. I don't know how much of them you can see, but I got Paris and Singapore and London. sitting over there. I enjoy those. I like cities and the city skylines. I don't understand architecture, but I like architecture. So, yeah, those Lego architecture sets I like quite a bit. There we go. All right, you're done running. You're done running, Maul. We're coming after you. And we're just going to double jump and take him out. Where'd you go? Did you run? Of course you ran. That's all you do. That's all you do, Maul, is run. And back over there. Down. Down. What's he doing now? Ah, now he's changing it up. Here we go. All right. What's he going to do? Ah, he's throwing stuff at us. All right. Boop. There he goes. Over to the next one. Awesome. Boop. Teacup. Teacup to the face. Come on. Here we go. Almost there. Nice. Awesome. No! All right. Qui-Gon. Here we go. All right, so here we go. Yeah, there we go. And if I remember this right, let's see. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, this entire episode has been inept. He's the comic relief. He just can't do anything right. And now let's see what he does. Watch this. Watch this. All hope is lost. All hope is lost. Here we go. Qui-Gon's. And he does a super double flip, pulls the lightsaber from Qui-Gon, and cuts Maul in half in one shot. And there we go. So Obi-Wan is a badass. They trick you a little bit into thinking he's inept, but Obi-Wan's a badass. And that's it. That finishes up the episode. We're gonna get a little bit of a cutscene. I gotta say that Darth Maul fight was very cool. I like the progression of working through the different sections, having to fight, even though he's running all the time. I'm joking about that, but the sequence of the level's really cool. As you work your way through, you do some combat, and then you finally take him out. And it's a lot like it was in the movie. That's what the movie was like. They were jumping around on those platforms. And what do we got? Yep, here we go. I'm going to get in trouble for this music. Am I going to get in trouble for the music? If I talk loud enough, maybe it won't pick it up. And here we go. And we're going to do this. And we're going to nod, everybody smile. And we're going to build up to the big crescendo. And here's the crescendo. And oh, Disney, you and your copyright. Oh, Disney. All right. It's awesome. All right. And with all that, we have managed to finish 5.4% of the game. There's Lego for you. You get through all those story missions and you've just barely scratched the surface. And now we have gone back to the cantina. And that wraps up episode 1, The Phantom Menace in Lego form. Next time, we'll dive into Attack of the Clones. More Jedi, more clones, and yes, more studs to collect. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which Phantom Menace level was your favorite. This is Ken from Golden Stud Gaming, reminding you, as always, to play, collect, complete.